You will become a different person when you study abroad. Hi, this is Fabian, the scholar guy who helps you find amazing opportunities and study abroad. Today I'll be sharing with you 5 takes that I've learned after 1 year of studying in France as an international student coming from a Central American background. If you don't know me yet, I come from Honduras and I'm pursuing my master's degree here, and I'm sharing out my experience, some advice and tips on the internet. The first thing that you need to understand when you study abroad is that you don't have a support system, that no one knows you, that you have to earn respect, you have to earn a name yourself out there. And so my first take here is that you will learn how to adapt. It's as simple as that. You realize that you don't have other options out there, and that you need to learn the new rules of that country, the laws, how does it works, what is the mindset of the people there, how does bureaucracy works. And so all these things in your day-to-day life, plus if it's on a different language than your mother tongue, will make you quickly adapt to changes and to a new life that is going to be automatically done. You won't even realize that you're actually adapting in the process. So that will help you grow as a person, as a professional. There's a phrase, a statistic of some studies done, that 1 year of studying abroad is the equivalent of 5 years being in your home country. So the personal development, the growth that you'll have compared to if you had decided to stay in your home country and study in your place would 5x. It would be so much exponential. The second take here is that you will become braver. And so let me give you an example, a personal one. As a man, society in the dating dynamics is usually expecting men to make the first move. And so a small thing that I've realized in my change of mindset is that I don't mind asking for someone for a coffee or for a phone number. Things that in my home country I was absolutely terrified to do. All of a sudden I do them unconsciously. They come from inertia, or for instance, moving myself through bike. To provide you context, I didn't use a bike ever since I was a kid, and I would do it in my home country just as a hobby, and now I literally use it as a transport method. And so I believe that you are all of a sudden will be doing things that you do by inertia. Maybe the fact that you're now, my day-to-day life is in French, which is my third language, or that I have to adapt to other people, that I had to move out to a different apartment or place. So making big decisions will ease the process of making other decisions that at the earlier on in your life seem to be difficult to make, but now they're easy. Or another example that I can provide you is creating content on the internet. Never would I have believed that I would be providing guide and helping people on the internet about how to study abroad, how to earn scholarship, putting myself speaking in front of a camera, exposing to other people, maybe other friends or people that I know that might be potentially mocking. All of a sudden you won't care about that. The third take here is that you'll become more open-minded. So there's a lot of cultures here in these first world countries. Something that you need to understand when you study in one of these countries that are most of the time multicultural is that they receive people, other international students, immigrants, expats, whatever you want to name it, from different places. What happens is that you end up learning cultures, learning about different lifestyles, religions, traditions, and some way that I can explain to you how I see people who have never studied abroad or never even visited other countries, going on a trip, never traveled out of their country, is they live in a bubble. And so when you study abroad, either through a scholarship or a self-funded program, you pop that bubble and you discover the real world. You realize that there's other ways to live. You become more tolerant, more open-minded in the process. And so I believe that it is important that every human being experiences. That's why I'm such a promoter of studying abroad, because I think that every human being should experience it, because there's no other way to explain it but other than you realize that there's other people who have different lifestyles, and that your way of living is not precisely the only one, and yet that you're not the owner of the truth. It pretty much humbles you. The fourth take here is that you will solve more problems. So because you have no support system, you cannot rely on anyone but yourself. You realize that you have no other option but to solve the problems yourself. And so, for instance, an example that I can provide you is the appointments, the immigration process, how to renew your student visa, how to get your work permit. Here in France, there's a document pretty common called the titre de séjour, or how to, for instance, get the social security ID of that country where you'll be studying. I think all of those elements are very important. So I want to give you a concrete example. The seat of my bike, it pretty much broke down, and so I had to take it to a workshop and fixed it. It only costed me €5, and the worst part is that it was a problem that I procrastinated for like 2 or 3 days, and I realized that I had no other option. But if I wanted to keep having this transportation method, I had to find a solution, and so I went there and fixed it. If something happens, if you lose your credit card, you realize that you have to call the bank quickly so that they have it blocked. So you realize that you were a kid in your home country, that your mom or your dad fixed all your problems, and now you're literally an adult solving problems. The fifth and final take that it's more related to studying abroad is that you learn how to study, especially in a different system. See, the education system in France is very different from the one in Honduras. Here I've noticed that they are more practical. So questions here in the exams are more open-ended, and professors are asking you to just explain pretty much what you understood from the course. It's not much multiple choice where you only get one wrong or right answer. No, here you express what you understood. You give concrete examples in most of the tests. That is very different from this education system, which was more related to whether you were able to understood theory or not. As a bachelor's degree student in my country from the university I did my former studies, and you realize that you need to adapt to that, but also how to study, how to sit in front of a class, especially if you are owner of a scholarship. Like I said in my former video, which I highly advise you to take a look at it, scholarships are a great opportunity because they'll be paying you the relocation, especially if it's a full scholarship. But they are very prestigious, they're very generous. They'll be paying you the relocation in some cases through the visa application fees and appointments, and also the plane ticket to move to that country. Some are even more generous, and they give you a monthly stipend for you to survive there and pay rent and food. And of course, your whole education, your whole degree will be covered by that university. Or if it's at a public university, very affordable. It's most of the time covered by the union government through the taxes paid by the citizens. And so you're getting a big opportunity. So because of that, whenever you have a great opportunity, comes a greater responsibility. And so I believe that you as a student, especially if you get a scholarship, you're an ambassador of your home country, and you should aim to have good grades. You should aim to be an example for the rest. In my case, and something that I can advise you is there's an opportunity for you to become the delegate or the president of your class. Do it. Or if you sit in front of the class, ask questions to the professor, pay attention, avoid doom scrolling while the professor is speaking. So you will realize that you're there to learn. You will learn how to study when you study abroad. And what a better opportunity than doing it through a scholarship to get it fully funded. And so I believe that if you're interested and want to have advice on how to get a scholarship, don't hesitate in contacting me. And maybe we can discuss this further as a book one-on-one call. If not, you can always consume my content, hence why I invite you to subscribe, like this video, comment if you have any insights or any feedback, and we'll see you on the next one.